Rendine Constructions is a local multifaceted construction company which is well regarded for its expertise in commercial and civil construction and project management. Based in Moorlap, Rendine Constructions is not your typical building company. Where others see the impossible, Rendine will work together with you to find a solution. Such is our everyday approach to the many challenges our trade presents. Our evolution from a small carpentry subcontractor to a leading construction company offering a holistic suite of services is the result of an innovative, passionate and ambitious team who exemplify our ideology of Together We Build. Driving our mission to deliver extraordinary construction is our commitment to excellence. Whether it's design, engineering, commercial or modular construction, civil construction or maintenance and reinstatement services that you need, Rendine Constructions is here to help you. Call us now on 5248 2542 or visit our website at www.rendine.com.au. Good evening and a very, very warm welcome to you wherever you may be. Thank you for joining us here on this rather wet Monday night. It is Monday, March the 3rd, and it is episode 59 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We look forward to having your company with us over the next, I suppose, 60-odd minutes. And joining me in the studio, as he does every week, is my co-host, none other than Steve Curtin. Steve, very, very warm welcome to you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks, mate. I had the day off today, so yeah, in good spirits here, mate. And how do we find yourself this evening?
Oh, not too bad, mate. Not too bad. Really excited, mind you. Tonight is going to be a huge show. Episode 59, sponsored by the Barwon Soccer Club in conjunction with their major sponsor, Rendine Constructions. And Rendine Constructions, for you folk out there, is a building organisation heavily involved in the football community. They obviously did the Barwon Soccer Club redevelopment there, and they're also involved in the upcoming redevelopment of Hume Reserve and the Cryo Soccer Club. So that's something that we look forward to. So we'll be speaking to Barwon Soccer Club President COLIN DRAIN, who is also involved with Rendine Constructions. He'll find us a little bit more about that. Mate, other guests. We've got some huge guests tonight, apart from Colin, who's been a regular of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. We've also got, who else we got, Steve?
Yeah, also from Barwon Soccer Club, we've got their newly appointed women's senior team coach, SIMON BLANCH, joining us as well, also from Barwon Soccer Club. So looking forward to chatting with him and what is Female Football Week here in Victoria as well. So it's very on point at the moment.
Absolutely. Blanchy is a very, very popular man, formerly of Drysdale Soccer Club, has been involved with the Masters tournament, the very successful Masters tournament in the off-season as well. And he has now taken the reins up at Grovedale Reserve, which is going to be fantastic. And then just in late-breaking news, actually, we've got some huge late-breaking news. So hold on to your hats there. If you are North Geelong Soccer Club or Football Club fans, you will not want to miss this news that has just broken in the last hour. But before we talk about that in our news desk, we've got an international guest all the way from the old Dart. He is an old Geelong boy, so we've got a very, very strong Geelong connection. And who might that be, Steve?
Yeah, well, we've had him on the show before. You might be able to guess. He is over there in the UK. It's JESSIE MAES will be joining us tonight, all the way over there from his new club that he's involved with there, Maidenhead United FC, over there just outside of London.
Yeah, so he's apparently he's the operations assistant with the women's team there. Now, how did he end up from Drysdale, and then he ended up at he was at Western United at one stage. He went to Brisbane Roar, was the kit manager there, and now he's ended up in England in the midst of corona fever, if you like, whatever. He'll be talking to us about the public outcry from the now doomed European Super League concept that was being mooted. But also overnight, mate, big news. We had the Manchester United v Liverpool EPL clash that was called off because of crowd protests to do with, obviously, the American owners of Manchester United. And, gee, is that causing a lot of waves, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, and it's a funny time because spectators and members of clubs can't actively protest at games in person, but these fans made their voices heard when they ended up forcing the game to be called off.
They did they not? I tell you what, there's some amazing scenes overnight from what was happening over there in the UK. But ladies and gentlemen, so Steve, I'll let you step away for a sec and get yourself ready for the news desk. It's episode 59 of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Folks, we do need your help. We need your support. Now, if you're involved with the club, we want your club to be featured in the Club in Focus segment each and every Monday night here. So get your club involved. It doesn't take much. Get one of your sponsors to sponsor the program and nominate the club with like what Rendine Constructions have done this week. Or do what Breakwater Eagles did last week and sponsor the show itself, because we want to feature all the clubs, and it's an open invitation to all the clubs to get involved. As for individuals, please, we need your support. If we want to see out the season, if we want to keep on going, we are we are the program that promotes all the clubs if they so want to be promoted. And we also are the only program or the only media that really covers all of the soccer, all of the football divisions here in Geelong. www.patreon.com/Geelong Region Soccer Show. That is the website to go to. There it is on your screen, www.patreon.com/Geelong Region Soccer Show. Show your support and become a member of the Geelong Region Soccer Show for as low as $15 and only as much as $25 a month. You can be a member of the Geelong Region Soccer Show. So we really, really urge you to become a member. Don't go away, folks. We'll be back very, very shortly on the other side of this little news item, if you like, with the news desk.
All right, good evening. It's Monday, the 3rd of May, 2021, and we'll start tonight, I think, Tonci, with that breaking news that we've just heard, and it does relate to the annual Croatian football tournament that was postponed from last year.
Yep.
It was set to be held in Geelong, postponed from October last year to October 2021. Well, we've just heard the news tonight. We've got a statement from North Geelong President John Didalitza, who has confirmed for us tonight that due to the situation and the snap lockdowns that have taken place, etc., in Perth and things recently, the COVID protocols that need to be observed, a number of options were looked at in the last couple of weeks with sharing the tournament across Geelong and Melbourne, perhaps. But consequently, they've had to take the step to transfer the hosting of the 2021 tournament to the Gold Coast, where there is both facility that can accommodate the tournament and a different government overlay relating to events such as the tournament. So that is it there. You can see the statement is on your screen. It's been posted up on the North Geelong socials at the moment. So, yeah, big bombshell there. Didn't expect to hear that one tonight, Tonch.
No, it's just, as I said, it's only come to light about in the last hour or so. And it's there, according to the North Geelong president, there's a quote there where he says, our number one consideration at all times was ensuring the tournament could proceed in some way. When it became clear that Geelong hosting a full-scale tournament was impossible, it was our duty to work with the SAVES, which is the association, to ensure that an alternative option was found, whether this was a tournament with a reduced scale or a complete relocation outside of Victoria. This wasn't about North Geelong, but ensuring that the Croatian community could once again come together after what has been a difficult 12 months for everybody. So unfortunately for North Geelong and unfortunately for the local football community and indeed the Croatian community, the 2021 Croatian soccer tournament that was slated for Geelong has been moved now to the Gold Coast. And I don't know if that means that in the foreseeable future it is unlikely to return to Geelong because there has been talk that Sydney, Adelaide, even Canberra were vying for future editions. So that is unfortunately the state of affairs with that.
It is. So let's hope that we can have the rights to host it again. Maybe the following year that would be good. But yeah, at the moment we don't know. So that's the news that's come to hand. So it's a big hit for Geelong. Looking forward to hosting such a big event. It would have been, as we know how big it is. It's been here before in the past. It's absolutely enormous, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Anyway, sad news. Obviously, with what has happened in Geelong over the last, I say, 24 or so hours. Breaking news that he was the unofficial mayor of Geelong. He was the Geelong Football Club's saviour and president for so many years. He was a philanthropist and a good all-round good guy. Passed away this week, and of course, we're talking about Frank Costa. But Steve, there's also a soccer connection as well, and a strong soccer connection at that.
Yeah, that's right. Despite him being, I guess, best known for his presidency work at the Geelong Football Club and turning the team around from a club that was struggling on and off the field in so many ways to a successful juggernaut that the Cats became, something for the city of Geelong to be so proud of. Frank was also the first ambassador of the Surf Coast FC Academy and a great supporter of the Surf Coast Football Club in general. And you can see that picture of him there, decked out in the scarf, holding the round ball there. So, Frank did some great stuff there. So we need to acknowledge that, and obviously our condolences with everyone affected and touched by the loss of Geelong's Frank Costa. Yeah,
and he's also got another connection as well. One of his son-in-laws coaches the North Geelong Under-11 Kangas team as well, so a big shout out to Adam Cholak and his wife Kate, who's the late Frank's daughter, as well. On the sad passing of your father-in-law and father, and grandfather to young Joseph as well, and Francis and Tommy. Now we've, I guess, sad news as well. Down at Hume Reserve, thankfully not as sad as the passing of someone, but young Darcy Rapper suffered a real debilitating injury on the weekend.
Yeah, this news came to hand just through Cryo's Facebook page on Saturday evening, with Darcy Rapper sustaining a serious injury during the game on Saturday during a tough challenge that saw him fall awkwardly onto his neck and head. Scans have revealed Darcy has a fracture of the C7 in his neck, and the club will keep us updated on further news. So at the moment, obviously, regardless of what happens on the field, health is first and foremost the concern. And Darcy, a great young boy in the Geelong footballing community, great talent, and just a great individual as well. We wish him all the best, and hopefully he's able to get over that shocking injury.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he had that injury a couple of years ago. I think it was his knee or something like that.
Yeah.
He fought back from that. He ended up doing quite well, and was able to work his way back to fitness. And for something like this to happen, it's a tough one. And certainly all our thoughts and prayers go out with Darcy and his family, and hope he's going to be back bigger and better, stronger than ever, and that's for sure. On a final note, mate, we've got just, I guess it's Female Football Week this week.
There we go.
This was something that was popped up on social media just earlier today. And there is a soccer mums. We have on the Geelong Region Soccer News Facebook page, we've had some comments about the Man v Fat soccer program that is currently being run at the Leisure Time, a weight loss program that's got a strong football theme to it. And actually one lady inquired and said, is there any plans for having a women's version? Well, not so much, but this is as close as they get. And you don't have to be a mum to be able to participate in programs like this. But look, I'd love to see every club in Geelong have a designated soccer mums deliverer. And what it basically means is, once you've got your training session happening of the juniors, the mums are usually on their phones, and what you're not inside their cars. Well, get the mums, get the ladies out doing a little bit of exercise. And what better way than to do it through a soccer mums program? And I know Geelong, North Geelong, Rangers, Leopold, Drysdale, they've all run programs. I'm sure I've missed out some clubs in the past. Would love to see more and more of these type of programs. But look, it's a free program. this Thursday evening from 7:15 to 8:45. There's the website, www.soccermums.com.au. Or if you go on Go Soccer Mums on the Facebook page, there's a jot form there where you can register. But it is a free online program, so you don't even have to leave the comfort of your home to be able to do it. And it is absolutely worthwhile. So certainly recommend all and sundry get involved in this, and love to see every club involved with this. But so I think that's it of the news. Is there anything else, Steve? Any other news?
Oh, I think it's time to move into the results section of the news.
It is indeed. And let's kick off with NPL 2.
All right, so let's go back in time to Saturday, where we saw the NPL 2 result take place up in Shepparton, which was Goulburn Valley Suns 4, North Geelong Warriors 3, and those goals for North for Ryan Offerman, Jamie Nogler and Jessie Krasic weren't enough to get the Warriors a share of the points up there at Shepparton.
So if we look at the ladder there, now there's a game happening on tonight. Bulleen Lions taking on, I think it's Langwarrin. Yep. Should Bulleen grab a couple of points here, they will overtake North Geelong Warriors. Now, what's even worse, this is a ladder taken from the Football Victoria website. It doesn't actually take into account the Moreland Zebras versus Werribee City game, where the Moreland Zebras actually won. I think it was 3-1. And so the Zebras are, in fact, on 8 points, meaning that North Geelong are now in 9th spot with the possibility of dropping down as low as 10th. Now, they've only lost 2 games this year, but the fact that they've drawn 3 and only won 1, well, it's certainly not looking good for the Warriors down at Alco Park.
No, not at the moment. So they'll need to look to turn things around quickly. In better news, they did have a win in the midweek FFA Cup game last Wednesday, which was a 6-1 result over Keilor Park in State 1. I was able to get out for a look at that game, and it was pretty close. It was 1-1 up until the 44th minute, and then Geelong scored one through Jessie Krasic on 44 minutes before a 4-goal-0 onslaught in the second half saw them win 6-1.
Brenton Ray, the Ray man, he is the news hound, and he's popped a comment there in our comment section on Langy TV from 8:10 p.m. for an 8:15 p.m. kickoff. That is the Langwarrin versus Bulleen game. It's on the live stream via the Langwarrin Facebook page. So straight after finishing here, if you're interested in that outcome, do head over to Langwarrin's Facebook page, and you'll have all the information there that you want. Now, moving on to NPL. Oh, and by the way, before we go further, we'll talk about NPL 3, and then we'll talk about the fixtures for the weekend coming. But Geelong, playing away to the Melbourne Victory youth team, drew 1-1 courtesy of a Dominic Swinton goal. So that allowed the Lions to collect one more point. So they find themselves in a solid mid-table position, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, so they had to come from behind with Dom scoring that goal in the 73rd minute there on their trip away to take on the Victory. So, yeah, they're looking solid in the middle of the table, but if you get on a quick run of results, that can change pretty quickly there.
Yeah, absolutely. So, look, as you say, it's fairly close there in the middle of the table. A win and results going your way, you shoot up 3, 4, possibly 5 positions very, very quickly. But at the same time, with a whole heap of teams there on 2 teams on 6, 1 on 5, and 1 on 4, or 2 on 4, it means that very, very quickly teams can overtake you on the what's it called, the ladder as well. So very, very quickly. Let's turn our attention now to this weekend's game, Steve.
Yeah, so North Geelong Warriors return home this Saturday at 3 o'clock at Alco Park. They'll take on Pascoe Vale. While for Geelong, it's another road trip, this time to Moorshead Park in Ballarat, where they'll take on Cellar Dwellers, Ballarat City at 3 p.m. So hopefully a chance for both of those local sides to pick up some points on Saturday.
Yeah, so we talked about the State 1 competition, not that just recently. Obviously with Corio and the unfortunate injury to Darcy Rapper. But on the weekend, Corio ground out a very, very good result. Well, a somewhat good result. They managed to get a point. Tell us more about that particular game, Steve.
Yeah, so at home on Saturday, they got a 2-2 draw with Whittlesea United with 2 goals from Alison Lima, and they had to come from 2 goals down to get a share of the points there as well. So a good second half fight back there, from what I understand.
Yeah, look, some of the other results in State 1, Sydenham Park defeated Keilor Park 3-0. The big surprise, Yarraville defeated Essendon Royals 2-1. And then Caroline Springs George Cross, who had previously a 100% win-loss record or 100% win record, they were held 1-1 by second-place Brimbank Stallions. So some interesting results there. All three of those top teams were I guess, dropped points in a way. So it's pretty, yeah. But Corio find themselves now in that relegation zone, not a position that they want to be in, that's for sure. And look, next week we'll look at the, I guess we can look at the fixture for next week. Corio at home on Saturday to bottom side Fitzroy City. Steve, if ever there was a must-win game, it's certainly this one, isn't it?
Yeah, no doubt about it, mate. So, yeah, fingers crossed they can get some all-important points this weekend.
Yeah. All right, moving on to State 2.
Yeah, so, again, the not greatest of results in State 2 for Geelong Rangers as they went down 3-0 away at Albion Rovers on Saturday.
It was really a bleak weekend for Geelong clubs. I think out of the 11 Geelong clubs playing in, and that's men's. We'll talk about the women's a bit later on. Playing in the Melbourne competitions, 9 either lost or drew. So only 2 teams did really well and came back with all 3 points. But some of the other big results there in State League 2. Westgate defeated Western Suburbs 3-1 to solidify a spot in the top 3. Hoppers Crossing, playing at home, Brenton Ray's team, that is, they caused a major upset, defeating the previously unbeaten Strathmore 1-0. Incredible result there. Strathmore had won 5 games from 5 wins from 5 games. They travelled to Grange Reserve on Saturday night, and Hoppers Crossing did very well and recorded all 3 points with the courtesy of a 1-0 win there. So great result there for Hoppers Crossing. And Laylaw United also did very, very well. They defeated Moreland United 5-0, mate. 5-0. Big result there.
It is a big result there. But yeah, you see, looking at the table there, Geelong Rangers, they're sitting in 9th there, but they're only 1 game off 3rd. So it's pretty tight there as well.
And who have they got this weekend coming up?
I don't have that in front of me, actually, mate.
Oh, rightio. Where are we?
I can probably dig that out though quickly.
Oh, here we go. There we go. There's the fixtures for this weekend. Geelong Rangers taking on Altona East Phoenix. So if we go back to that ladder there, Altona East Phoenix. Well, they're what where are they? 5th position there. So they're 3 points ahead of the Rangers, who are 9th. So as you just said, very, very close. A win here for the Rangers at home. Another must-win game. And in fact, mate, I think everyone bar, let's go back to those fixtures, everyone bar Deakin Ducks are, and that's wrong. Once again, the Gremlins are at it again. Everyone bar the Deakin Ducks are, in fact, playing at home. So it should be a massive, massive weekend of football this weekend. State 4. Let's move along to State 4 now.
All right. So in State League 4, the results for our local sides, well, some of those weren't too good either. Golden Plains at home, they lost 7-1 against the league leaders, Laverton, with Nelson scoring the first goal of the game for Golden Plains before they conceded the next 7. And they also had Marko Rasovic sent off on 77 minutes, did the Golden Plains side. Meanwhile, Bell Park, they had their first loss of the season, going down 1-0 at home against Melbourne Uni. Surf Coast on the road managed a goal through Brod Van Branstein, but they went down 3-1 there at Barnsonworth United in that match at Williamstown. And so, yeah, State League 4 wasn't a happy hunting ground for our local sides there. And you can see the table on your screen now.
Yeah, so all the State League 4 sides, not exactly what we want to see. The season's already quarter of the way through there, I suppose. But if we look at that particular division, is there anything that surprises you or anything that doesn't surprise you as far as the teams are concerned?
I think one of the success stories there is probably Gisborne in that top three there. They're looking okay. I didn't expect them to be as high as they are. And Laverton, you never know what they're going to do, but they've obviously got a good side together this year. And again, I suppose with the students of Melbourne University, it's unpredictable as well as to how they'll go. And often they lose players mid-season in between the semester break. That could be different this year because of the global situation. So, a lot could change there. A lot could stay the same.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, looking at this weekend, Golden Plains taking on Bell Park, the Midland Highway Derby, near neighbours there, and they'll be clashing at Bannockburn Recreation Precinct, and that's at 3 p.m. So, look, it's a must-win game for Bell Park. If they want to maintain pace with the leaders there, in particular Laverton, who are just starting to threaten to tear away, and Melbourne University also doing the same. They do need a victory here. But Golden Plains, look, sitting in second last position. They've only got one win to their name and 5 losses. A staggering goal difference of -17 as well. They need a victory, and if ever they were going to record their second win of the season, it's at home on Saturday. Speaking of at home, Surf Coast are at home, and guess who too? Melbourne Uni Soccer Club. A really tough game, that one. But look, if Surf Coast are planning on moving up the table and keeping pace with those leading leading trio, in fact, they will need to record a win here. Look, they're tough at home at Banyule Warrior Reserve. When they turn it on, they really, really do turn it on. And Steve, I guess if ever there was an occasion for them to really hit their straps or to cause a bit of an upset, so to speak, this is the game to do it, hey?
Yeah, that's right, mate. So hopefully the Coasters can bounce back. They did have a couple of wins in the lead up to this last one, so it looked like they were going to be getting on a bit of a roll. But yeah, it didn't work out for them on the weekend. But I'm sure they'll be working hard on the training track this week and seeing if they can bounce back.
Yeah, okay. Let's turn our attention now finally to Men's State League 5 competition. It's the league. It's the competition we sometimes dub the Geelong League because there are 4 out of the 12 teams that are from the Geelong area, and another 3 or 4 from down Wyndham Vale area. So Wyndham, Werribee, etc., etc. So it's a very, very regionalised league, especially in that regard. But some of the results that happened on the weekend, well, let's go through some of the results, mate.
Yeah, so State 5, we'll start with Lara United. They were at home to Balmoral, and they had a 2-0 win, courtesy of 2 goals from Sam Volpe. So really good result there for Lara, who are the standout team from the region at the moment. And speaking of teams doing well, though, in the region, Deakin Ducks, they had a 3-0 win over Wyndham FC. Goals from Patrick Melito, Mark Hambrook, and Harry Woolley getting them over the line.
Oh, excellent. Good to see. Deakin are really doing well. They're always up there, thereabouts. But to see Lara United, they've only lost once this year. And gee, they are a pleasant surprise packet this year. A lot of good things happening at Lara United, but they're doing exceptionally well, the men's team. We'll talk about the women's team very, very shortly, who are doing just as well. But I guess one of the sides that are not doing as well as they'd like is our featured club for tonight, Barwon Soccer Club. But they came up against Keilor Wolves, the top team, and we're going to have a little bit of a highlights package a little bit later on of that game. But take us through that game, mate. Grovedale Reserve Saturday night.
Yeah, we actually spoke to the coach of the Keilor Wolves on the Football Out West show last night, and he described Barwon as a tough, difficult opponent, but the Keilor Wolves were able to get over the top of Barwon there at Grovedale Reserve. Barwon's only goal in the 2-1 loss was scored by their recent signing from Surf Coast, young Milton Bailey. Yeah.
But it wasn't enough to unsettle the leaders, and look at them, 6 wins from 6 games. Well, another Geelong side will make the trip up to Green Gully Reserve on Saturday. Deakin University will be taking on the Keilor Wolves, and the Ducks will be certainly looking to tame the Wolves, that's for sure, on Saturday night. That game kicks off at 7 p.m, so that should be an interesting game. But in the meantime, looking at last week's game, Melton Phoenix had a Saturday night fixture at home against our Surfside Waves, and unfortunately, the Waves are really finding their step up to State 5 very, very tough.
Yeah, they suffered another 5-1 loss. It's their second 5-1 loss on the bounce. Their only goal for Surfside was scored by Josh Keepers, and they finished with 10 men after Riley Dean was sent off in that one as well. So, yeah, it wasn't a great Saturday night for Melton. Would have been a difficult trip home to Ocean Grove after that one.
Yeah, indeed it was. Indeed it was. So if we turn our attention now to the games for next week, so in that division, we mentioned the big game up at Green Gully Reserve, Keilor Wolves hosting Deakin University on Saturday night. But equally big game happening at Lara Recreation Reserve this Saturday afternoon at 3 p.m. Lara United taking on Barwon Soccer Club. So that should be a really good game because both sides need to win. Lara, they need to maintain pace with Keilor Wolves, and should Deakin University, cause that, I guess it's an upset when you're coming up against a team that's 6 from 6. But should they cause an upset, and Lara will be on the same amount of points, even though look at that goal difference, 16-7, big difference, isn't there?
Yeah, Keilor Wolves scored 20 goals and only 4 goals against, so they have a very impressive record with their 6 wins from 6 games. So, so that game there on Saturday night at 7 o'clock at Green Gully Reserve. Tough assignment for Deakin, but who knows? They've been capable of some good things so far this season.
And Barwon, once again, will be very keen to get back on the winners list as well. Surfside Waves, they're at home to West Point. And it's a battle of 10th versus 11th. Both these teams have only won 1 game in 6 matches on the same amount of points, and almost the identical goal difference as well. So you could say almost a battle of the cellar dwellers. But in many ways, this is why this division is really interesting to us Geelong folk. All of these teams this week are faced with must-win encounters. And Surfside Waves at home to West Point on Saturday at Shell Road Reserve. They'll be very, very keen to ensure that they continue this, this form. Look, some interesting games happening ahead, that's for sure.
That's it. Should we move into the women's results from yesterday?
Yeah, I think so. But let's before we do that, let's take a little bit of a break, and we'll have a little bit of a news break there, an ad break before we move on to the women's. Don't go away.
As the world changes, so will our careers. If COVID-19 has you thinking about job security and your future, The Gordon can help. Get qualified for an industry that's growing or has a skill shortage and future-proof your career. Find out more at The Gordon's Information Nights, Tuesday, May 4 at Geelong City Campus, Wednesday, May 5 at East Geelong Campus, and Thursday, May 6 at Werribee Campus. Register online at thegordon.edu.au. The Gordon. Real skills, real experience, real outcomes. Government-owned TAFE provider number 3044.
Okay, welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It is episode 59 tonight, sponsored by the Barwon Soccer Club and Rendine Constructions. Thanks to the Gordon as well, who is an upcoming sponsor of one of our shows as well later down the track. But in the meantime, Steve, let's turn our attention now to the women's side of things, and let's turn our attention firstly to the VPLW competition.
Yeah, mate. So good news for the Galaxy yesterday, getting their first win on the board for the new season in that competition. They won 3-2 on the road there as they travelled across to take on the Casey Comets. So 3-2. I know the final goal was scored by Tara Smith, and I don't have the earlier 2 goal scorers, unfortunately, but nonetheless, a great win for Galaxy. Well done to everyone there.
Yeah, we don't have the goal scorers there,
No.
and I haven't been updated or anything like that, unfortunately. Nonetheless, a good result there. They now turn their attention to this weekend's game. They're on the road again, and this time they're going to be, I think they're coming up against Eltham Redbacks. Eltham Redbacks on Sunday at 3 o'clock kickoff there at Eltham North Reserve. And the Redbacks, they've had a somewhat, a 50-50 start to the season from their 2 games. It's 1 win and 1 loss. Galaxy. That ladder as well. Thanks Nick Williams while we're at it. Nick Williams is assistant coach there at Galaxy. He's jumped in and he said Kiera Major and Michaela Stayer scored the first two. Thanks, Nick. Very much appreciated. So there we go. We've got all of our details of our goal scorers. That hasn't been updated, or that ladder hasn't been updated. So Galaxy obviously are on 3 points. Same amount of points as Eltham Redbacks, but they've played a game extra. And so they are in 7th, whereas the Redbacks are in 8th position. So a big game for the Galaxy. They need this win before they return home. I think it's in 2 weeks' time. I think they're hosting Burundara Carey Eagles, so the top side who have gone 3 wins from 3 games. So that's going to be very, very tough, that one at home in 2 weeks' time. So I guess, Steve, an important game next week where they really need to win against the Eltham Redbacks.
Yeah, it will be a tough game. Eltham's always a tricky opponent, especially going away there to take them on. So, yeah, hopefully they'll get some confidence from that win over Casey Comets there. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move along to State 2 and the big news. Yeah. Steve. What happened in State 2?
Yeah, well, Lara United went to play bottom side Brighton at Brighton yesterday. I don't know if Karen was there on the sidelines or not, but the result there finished Lara 23, Brighton 0. So that included a 9-goal haul to Sophie Razmara, including her first hat trick, which came in that match within 12 minutes. First 3 goals within 12 minutes, not bad. Izzy Wilkinson with 5, EJ Riley with 3, Steph Anderson with 2, Jasmine Naragi with 2, Hannah Gauci with 1, and Jared Davey with 1. So,
folks,
big score there.
Did you hear
23-0.
Repeat that, 23-0. What a remarkable result. And isn't it great to see Lara United? Look, I love seeing any Geelong club up on top of the ladder. Doesn't matter what division it is. And great to see Lara United there on top of good to see that the women really carried the flag. And how ironic it is, it kicked off on Saturday with Women's Football Week kicked off on Saturday. And it's the women that are carrying the flag for the region. Galaxy earning their first 3 points of the season. Lara United maintaining their 100% record. Now, we had some very interesting correspondence from Lara coach Ryan Horrocks earlier today, who got in touch with the Geelong Region Soccer Show. Steve, you've got the little statement there that are you able to read that out?
Yeah, so Ryan received a message after the game yesterday from the coach of Brighton, who just said, "I just wanted to thank you and congratulate your team on their true support of our team. Amazing bunch of young women. Please pass on my sincerest thanks to the whole team and yourselves for being such great sports." So it's full credit to the coaching staff there at Brighton to be able to have the ability to send such a nice message after experiencing a 23-0 defeat there. And full credit to Lara as well, because obviously it says a lot about how they conducted themselves, and hopefully they can get on a bit of a roll, continue on staying on a bit of a roll, because they've got that game coming up against Calder in the Nike FC Cup in a fortnight. It's going to be very tough, but who knows, the form that they're in, anything's possible.
Yeah, fantastic result there, and that is incredible. Like, just an amazing look. There's two schools of thought when something like this happens. Oh, you should back off, and you're kind of, it's not fair to your opponents and this and that. But then there's another other school of thought, Steve. Look, we're talking at a senior level. We're talking at at a level where a club like Lara United is looking at, well, next year playing in State 1, and guess what? The following year they could be in VPLW, just one step away from NPLW. So I think we really at times need to instill in our players a killer instinct, particularly our scorers. And that's exactly what Lara did. But they also did it in a very dignified way, so much so that the Brighton coach felt compelled to get in contact with Lara United. So kudos to absolutely everyone there. And Lara United, they're at home to Craigieburn City this weekend. So that's on Sunday. 1 p.m. kickoff at Lara Recreation Reserve. Tell you what, if you want to see goals, come down to Lara Recreation Reserve on Sunday. And look, on Saturday it's the blokes with the big Geelong derby. Lara taking on Barwon in State 5. and then the ladies on Sunday. Mother's Day, can they turn it on for all the mums out there? I'm sure Craig and City will want to do the same thing for their mums, but they're from Melbourne. We don't care. We're talking about our locals here. So, great result. Now, mate, let's move to State 3, because hold that thought about a Geelong team being on top of the ladder. Look at that. North Geelong Warriors making their return to state competition. And this week, they came up against the previously undefeated Avondale FC at home. And what was the outcome of that particular game?
Yeah, that one finished North Geelong 2, Avondale 0, and goals from Yadrunka Urseg and Zoe Tizard getting the Warriors over the line and sealing their top spot after that first 3 games have taken place. So well done to everyone out there at Elko Park. The girls looking good.
Yeah, fantastic result there for North Geelong. They had an absolute dream run in the Nike FC Cup and did very well. Recorded some good wins there. They've managed to recruit quite well, and they've got a great team of young players coming up through the ranks there. Under 17 Metro team as well is supposedly doing really well, and I think they may be on top of the ladder or on top of the standings as well. So great to see right across the board. Women's teams doing so well, representing the city in the state competitions. But we're going to speak a little later on to one of the coaches of Barwon Soccer Club's women's team here in the local competition as well. Traditionally a powerhouse of the local league. Barwon have gone a little bit wayward in their achievements in recent years, but they are on the way back, and we'll be talking to Simon Blanche, their newly appointed coach, a little bit later on. And Simon has got a rich history of involvement in women's football as well as masters. We'll have to ask him about that a little bit later on. But he's in the green room awaiting to come on, as is COLIN DRAIN. But yeah, look, that's it for the women's. Mate, shall we turn our attention to the local? What we'll do is maybe we'll look at the local competition a little bit later on. Yeah. We might just take a bit of a break because we are really running out of time. And hopefully we've got COLIN DRAIN on the line and we'll be able to get him. But in the meantime, here's a word from our major sponsor tonight. Welcome back to the Geelong Region Soccer Show. It's episode 59, and you're tuning into a special Barwon Soccer Club themed program. A little later on, we'll be crossing live to the UK, where we'll be catching up with former Geelong boy, former Drysdale Soccer Club player and committee member as well, in JESSIE MAES. But in the meantime, it's time to bring on our next guest, who is the president of the Barwon Soccer Club and someone who has been heavily involved in the club right pretty much since its inception, COLIN DRAIN. A big welcome to Colin, and there's no one there. Colin, are you there?
He's left the green room. He's had to wait too long.
I'm here. I'm not sure what's happened to my video.
Oh, no. Well, we can hear you. So we might just have to have audio, unfortunately. But
yes, fair enough.
That's okay. Well, you know, Me and well, I in particular usually say that I've got a face for radio, but unfortunately these days everything's visual. But hopefully you're not like that, mate. Mate, welcome to the show. Really appreciate you coming on board. A lot has been happening in the off season. We talked about it being an 18-month pre-season, but down at Grovedale Reserve, we'll talk about some of the changes and some of the developments. But I guess the biggest change has been Colin Ray deciding to step down after many, many years as president and replaced by yourself. How did that all come about, and how's the transition been from just being involved in the committee to actually now being the president of the club?
I've been having a chat with Dave over the last 12 months. Obviously, he's been the president for a few years this time, and certainly a lot longer than that in the past as well. So, yeah, he just felt that he needed a bit more of a rest. He's been very busy with work. I just felt that I, hopefully could fill his shoes and bring some extra ideas and a bit of new energy to the role. I've been very heavily involved on the committee for the last 6-7 years anyway. So, I know the club inside and out. I just thought it was time I put my head above the parapet and put my name to the role.
Colin, Steve here. Thanks again for joining us tonight, mate. Dave Ray, how much of a influence has Dave been as someone who was stepping into the shoes of him? Has he been someone who's been mentoring you into the role a little bit?
Yeah, there's definitely been a bit of that, I think, over the last few years. Dave and I have a very close relationship. He's almost like a bit of a father figure for me, and living overseas with not much family around, it's just been great to have a sounding board to always call up, have a chat with, and bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah. Now we see, mate. Apart from the change in leadership at Grovedale Reserve, we've also seen some capital improvements done to the change room facility there at Grovedale Reserve. A magnificent facility as it is, but now it's become even better. Tell us a little bit about the change room expansion there that's happened.
Yeah, so that probably was completed middle of 2020. It's phase 2 of the original building, which obviously was constructed 6-7 years ago now. So it's always been on the cards. It was great to finally get the budget approved and get it built. Obviously, we weren't able to use it last year, but it's given us an extra 2 change rooms this year and a great big storage space as well. We had to demolish our old shed at the back, so we lost a lot of space there. So yeah, we kind of need the extra space to fill with all the usual training gear and some ideas of what we can put in there as well.
And given it's Female Football Week after all, that must make a huge difference for all members of the playing group there, whether it's the men's or the women's as well, because they have their own space to operate in before and after the games, after training and that sort of thing, I'd imagine now, Colin.
Yeah, we just want them to make them to feel like home in there. So they got to start putting a few banners and posters up there to make it their own. They train on different nights, which kind of makes it easier in terms of everyone sharing the facilities, and obviously they play mostly on different days as well. But yeah, certainly I think they'll all enjoy having the extra space. We'll have 2 rooms for the home teams and 2 rooms which we'll leave for the visitors to use.
Brilliant. And before we get on to the senior men's team, we'll talk about the senior women's with Simon, with Blanche a little bit later on. But with the before we get on to the senior men's teams, COVID, how did it affect Barwon? And in what way did it affect Barwon Soccer Club? And how have you fought back against it? Obviously to kick off the season in a pretty good sort of state of affairs.
Obviously, yeah, it was a big blow last year. We had a really, really strong squad. Started fantastically in the FA Cup. Very high hopes for the season. We've recruited a few new players. Then obviously this year we've managed to probably retain the vast majority of last year's first team squad. A couple of big losses, but picked up a couple of new guys as well. And I think Dale might have said in the past, we've got guys that are relocating to Geelong from Melbourne, and they're actually contacting us and contacting Dale directly. They've heard good things about the club. They want to come and play and see what it's all about.
As we can see some footage from Saturday's game between Barwon and the Geelong Wolves. Are they the real deal? Are they stoppable, or are they just purely unstoppable at the moment? Geelong Wolves have gone 6 games and 6 wins. Were they that good, or were the Barwon boys just a little bit off colour on Saturday night?
No, I thought it was a very good performance by us. We obviously had a disappointing week the week before. I thought the boys come back with a great attitude, bounced back, played really, really well, created 2 or 3 big chances, which unfortunately we weren't able to put away.
Yep.
But Geelong obviously very strong all over the park, well organised, very physical, difficult to break down. I think we felt a bit unlucky to not come away with any points at all. We obviously gave away a bit of a penalty, and then they got another one not long after that. Milton got one back for us, and despite a lot of pressure laid on, we just weren't able to get the equaliser, unfortunately. So yeah, credit to Geelong. They're looking very good. Made a strong start. We're hoping obviously that Deacon can show us how it's done on the weekend and start taking some points off them.
Colin, the footage there, looking at that, it looks a real picture there, the Grovedale Reserve, with those sort of evening kickoffs there, 5 o'clock for the State 5 team on Saturday evenings for those home games, and then not to mention also the Friday night fixtures for some of the local league, the guys and the girls teams as well. So is that sort of the niche that you've been happy to find there, with the senior men playing those games at 5 o'clock on Saturdays, a bit of a point of difference to other clubs that are operating during the sort of more 3 o'clock kickoffs?
Yeah, I think so. I think originally we felt it was a good time of day for everyone to try and get spectators involved. You've got all day to do whatever you've got to do, and then you can come and watch a bit of football, have some food, have a couple of drinks, and then you can still get home, have some tea if you want to, and you've still got the evening to yourself. So I think I've noticed around the leagues a few other clubs have started to do similar. Mm-hmm. So from our point of view, it's great. The boys enjoy it.
Are you pretty happy with the crowds that you do get, and the atmosphere that looking at that? I mean, it's fantastic. You see the lights over Geelong and Saturday evening. What a great way to start the night. But have you been happy with, as a club? Have you been happy with the general turnout on a Saturday night? Yeah,
I mean, we'd always like to have more, and we're certainly doing our best to publicise it and attract more people to come down and have a look and see what it's all about. The crowd against Deakin was a big one. Obviously, Deakin themselves brought a fair number with them, so that was a great atmosphere. Geelong, we probably didn't have quite as many as the week before, but there's always a core group of, I'd say, 100 or so, and then we're trying to encourage coaches to try and get some of the youth players to come along. We've noticed some of the under 16s, under 15 kids are coming along to watch. To experience some senior football firsthand. So it's certainly encouraging.
Now, the footage that we're seeing is courtesy of a innovative new camera that's called the VO. And I do believe Barwon Soccer Club is the first club in Geelong to actually invest in this. Now, this is brilliant because apparently you don't need a cameraman. It's mounted on a pole. Every team that plays on that particular ground, you're able to take footage of it. Tell us a bit more about VO, because Barwon Soccer Club's a very innovative club. You guys have introduced a whole heap of new innovations for the Geelong region, and this is just one of them. How has that benefited Barwon Soccer Club? And tell us more about this VO camera.
Well, it's one of these things that obviously you get adverts come up on your Facebook feed and all the usual kind of spam that you see and tend to ignore most of, but this particular one, I'm guessing Dale must have clicked play on the video on it and liked what he saw, because he asked us in pre-season if it was something that we would consider investing in. We had a look at it. It certainly looked like a great product. And yeah, we decided to order it. It comes from Denmark, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't get it until pretty close to the FA Cup game starting off. We've used it to record all the seniors and reserve games so far, some pre-season training sessions. Now starting to try and roll it out more broadly across the rest of the club. So we recorded the women's game on Friday night. We'll have the men's Div 1 hopefully this Friday night on it. We're just getting the hang of the logistics. You know, the camera, you have to record games and you have to upload it to the cloud. So there's always a delay where it has to be somewhere else uploading all the video. Ideally, we'll have it at the ground on a Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, record some of the junior games, but then it's just a time factor. We have to have it fully charged with enough memory and get the data downloaded, and you get an email pop up when it's ready to go. It's great.
Brilliant, mate. Steve, any last questions for our guest tonight?
Yeah, Colin, Dale might be asking for GPS equipment for all of the players to put in their jerseys next at this rate. But no, a very good innovation there. And just quickly as well, we haven't touched on the juniors yet. And you mentioned some of them have been getting along to watch the seniors, which is really what it's all about. When you're getting the juniors and seniors involved in each other's program, it's fantastic. How is the junior set up there? And are you at capacity again this year?
Pretty much. There are a couple of teams that we could have done with an extra 2 or 3 boys in, but we've got 10 boys and girls junior teams from under 12s up to under 16s. Really good numbers in the girls. So we've got under 12s, under 15 girls with about 30 odd girls registered there. The boys, we've got 2 under 13s, 2 under 12s, 14s, 15s, and 2 under 16s, which is phenomenal. We lost a lot of boys last year at that kind of age. There's not a lot of options for them in terms of playing under 18s or else they have to play senior football. But we've managed to attract a number of kids from other clubs, and a few ex-players have come back as well because they wanted to play with their mates again. The under 16s is looking strong. They're actually being integrated into the senior setup. So every other week, one of the groups will train with Dale and the seniors. So we're really trying to create that link, that pathway from the under 16s, whether it's to Sunday football or hopefully to Saturday football. We've already had 3 boys from the under 16s make their debuts for the reserves this season, which is fantastic.
It is good news. It's one of the trickier sections getting from that under 16 age group into a senior level. It can be a bit of a jump as well. So, and just getting that confidence in the players to do that. So it sounds like a good initiative there that you got going with the younger players joining in with Dale occasionally. That sounds very good.
Yep. They seem to be enjoying it.
Awesome, mate. All right, we're going to have to leave you there. We've really gone over time. We've got Blanchy itching to talk about his new role there at the club. Colin, thanking you once again for supporting this show. Thanking you so much as well through your involvement at Rendine Constructions as well. Wishing you all the very best for the rest of your mandate this year and ongoing. You know, when you become a president, it's not just for 1 year; it's for multiple years. So we look forward to hearing lots and lots of positive stuff coming out of Grovedale Reserve in the months and years to come.
We'll do our best, guys. Always a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Good on you. That was Colin Drain, and that was the voice of Colin Drain. We had issues there with his vision, but I'm sure that with our next guest, we're not going to have that problem because he's got such a pretty face that everyone wants to see his face, and he's about to make his appearance. It's the newly appointed coach of the Barwon Soccer Club women's team, Simon Blanch. Blanchy, welcome to the show. Great to have you on board. And how are you?
I'm very well, and thanks for having me.
Now, mate, it's only a recent appointment. You've only been appointed, about a week or so ago, and you've been heavily involved in women's football, but also Masters. Let's talk about your involvement with women's football and football in general, because you've been involved heavily previously at Drysdale Soccer Club, and now you've made the move over to Grovedale Recreation Reserve. How'd that come about?
I got involved a week before the season started. I've chatted with Dale in the past about coming across to Barwon to be a coach.
Mm-hmm.
Something that was very tempting in the past because I know the setup. I've played against them a number of times and I've coached against them. But it was something that I wanted a couple of years out. I had to go through some bits and pieces off the field that I needed to sort out. Now I've got a bit more time on my hands. It's something that I'm very passionate about. And what was funny is I said to Dale, I'll give it a month and see if I can sort of arrange it and it suits me and the family and all the rest of it. And within a number of weeks, I felt so welcome at the club. It just felt like it was an easy transition to make back into coaching. So I'm so pleased I did.
Simon, thanks for your time tonight. How is the team looking at the moment? I saw that the girls had a really good win, 5-0 on Friday night over Barwon Heads. Things are looking promising there. Confidence at a high.
Funny thing is, not that long ago, they weren't even looking that they were going to get enough numbers to put a team in this year. Everyone suffered through COVID and a lot of people have dropped off. A lot of people have just sort of stepped away or just can't be bothered this year. We've got girls now that if we have a fully fit squad, we've got 7 girls that are going to sit out each week.
Oh, wow.
It's a great problem to have as a coach, but it's not nice for me to say to a girl, sorry, you're not going to play this week. So the actual the group are buzzing. They're absolutely fantastic. Like I said, they've made me feel so welcome. I'm trying to get them to a point where they want to fight for that spot, and competition for places is only a good thing in any team. So we just seem to be, they're listening, and I said this and I'll say it many a time, it's easier coaching women because they're a lot smarter and they'll actually listen better than most men will. So you can actually get them to do what, or play a structure that you want them to much better than any men's team will. So we're actually just finding our feet. We're only getting started. So when it comes to the bigger teams, I'm actually fairly confident that as long as we play our structure, we'll be right.
As we can see some footage there from last weekend's game, a good result there over the Barwon Heads, 5-0. Cook got 2 goals, Jensen 1, Toyne 1, and Hogan scoring 1 goal as well. Very picturesque there. We spoke with COLIN DRAIN just moments earlier and said how night games there at Grovedale Reserve can get bloody cold there, doesn't it? But it's very picturesque with the lights of the city down below you. It must be a pleasure now coaching the team, and as you said, doing so well. And some of the action that we're seeing is absolutely brilliant by the ladies.
Well, what's funny is that it didn't feel so cold the week before when I played against my old club, Drysdale. Yeah, banter from the sideline was pretty hilarious at times, but it was a fair result in the end. But you know what? Friday night football, it gives the girls the rest of the weekend to do what they do. It's absolutely fantastic. I wish there was a Masters League that would just play Friday nights so we could do something similar, but there's not. So that's why I'm here coaching. So the girls are making it easy. And I think at the same time, the actual women's league, dropping down from 2 leagues down to just 1 combined league is difficult for the girls.
Yeah.
At the same time, as long as there's women's football in the ring, that's the good thing for me.
Looking at the ladder positions there, the 12-team competition, Barwon currently sitting in 5th spot, having played 2 games and having got 4 points there. But I think that's actually, the ladder hasn't been updated. So that actually means that, is that right? You guys are now on 7 points. Is that right? And we've had these issues. Actually, someone contacted the Geelong Region Soccer Show, Soccer News Facebook page earlier today, and actually asked us if we could update the ladders and if we can, it's not looking very professional. Unfortunately, we've got nothing to do with it. That's all Football Victoria that does it. The website is on ffbgeelong.com.au. And I actually sent an email to the competitions department and nothing's been done, unfortunately. So as we can see that the ladder is still there after round 2, but we've had 3 rounds played. What can you do? Simon, you did mention how the 12-team competition is hard enough for some of the girls, but is there any talk of splitting it even at the halfway mark of the season into a top 6 and bottom 6, or is it going to stay a 12-team competition throughout the season?
There's been talk, but at the moment, that's all it is talk. Let's see how things pan out, see what results are. I did hear a rumour that one team was told to sort of wind it back when they went so many goals in front. But I've said to our girls, I don't care if we win 1-0, 10-0, as long as we play to our structure and our formation. As long as we keep that level of formation, that's what I'm more pleased about, and that's what I'm more sort of focused on. So I think whatever happens, as long as we get to that point where we're playing to our system formation, I'll have a crack at these top teams. It's 11v11. I'm not out on the park. The girls are doing the job for me. So if they rise to the occasion, I'm sure we can get a result. Even if we don't get a result, as long as they play to that structure, we can actually sort of do a job and actually sort of hold our own. So I'm fairly confident whatever happens, we'll be in the top 6 and we'll be fighting for it, or we'll be enjoying our football.
Yep. And Simon, can we ask, like, for maybe a mental insight into the players? How are they enjoying being back playing football again and being socialising with people? And is the vibe good, sort of off the field as well as it is on the field at the moment? Then
there's the only drawback for women's football. If you can get them to shut up for 5 minutes before we actually start the training session, too badly. So I only wish they'd talk so well on the pitch as they do off the pitch. So I'm really enjoying that. The camaraderie at Barwon's pretty good anyway.
Yeah.
I think we've got a group of new players that have come to the club to make it what it is. So everyone feels welcome. Everyone's fitting in nicely. So, like you said, we've had such a long layoff and there hasn't been the opportunity. I've been lucky to play Masters in the summer.
Yeah.
So first bunch of guys to actually get a kick in a sort of competitive nature. But I think the girls have been chomping at the bit. So they're happy just to be out there.
Brilliant. Let's talk about the Masters, Simon. It was an incredibly positive experience. 10 teams, I think it was, sponsored by 10 different pubs or hospitality outlets. Seems to be going from strength to strength. And look, that effectively has been organised by three guys: yourself, Ross Abraham and Barb Ross as well. Why isn't the league? Why isn't Football Victoria taking a little bit more of a leadership role in that area, in that category, and going and organising a Masters competition, whether it's in the off season, whether it's during the winter?
I don't want to badmouth the FFV, but it's not the top of their priority list. It's not juniors coming through that could play NPL. It's all guys having to run around just to sort of keep active. So for us, that suits us. We had 250 guys nearly having a kick. 10 teams. We had a number of guys fill in for just 1 game, 2 games. And then we had guys play every single game of the season. So the mental health aspect for me is really important to actually get guys having an option to have a kick. Some guys want an over 45s league because they're getting to that point in age. We had a team from Point Cook come down to Geelong to have a kick. So it's obviously popular. And we actually had to turn a team away because the 10-round system was just easier for us to actually manage as a group of volunteers. So it's been fantastic to get feedback from players' wives to say, look, husband's loving it. He's a much better father after he's played.
Yeah.
But at the time, we've got guys that can only play during the summer or can't play during the summer because when they're coaching their kids during the winter, that's the only time they get to spend with their wives on the weekend.
Yeah.
Involved. So for me, you cut me in half and there's football through me. It's one of those. So it's something that I'm passionate about to give people opportunity to. And it's a paid position and the passion there for Geelong, I don't think. That's my personal opinion. But there's a few of us that, like yourselves, are trying to sort of promote that and actually get it back on where it should be.
And what do we think we'll see in the future, Simon? What could the future hold for this Masters Summer League?
Well, I think if you ask Barb Ross, we're going to be as technically minded as Barwon. We just want to keep it so people can enjoy it. We don't want 10 leagues, a massive amount of competition. I'll give you a little insight to one of the guys that played in the first season last year. He played as if he was playing Division 1. And he was effing and blinding at people and he was so competitive. He says to me this year, I get it. It's about inclusion. It's about being part of something. It's about being out there playing with like-minded people. I just want to go out there and enjoy it. I'm not going to swear at anyone else now. So you've got people that will still want to play Division 1 football, and good for them, they can do that in the winter. But I think, for me, we've had so many people enjoy it. It's going to happen each year.
Brilliant. That's good news.
That there's a level of enjoyment factor.
Yeah. And February, March, that's the time slot that we're looking for the next competition, or will there be something done towards the end of the year?
I'm not too sure about the end of the year. That's something that the three of us have had a bit of a sabbatical from and just sort of chilling out for a while. But get back together, have a few of these and talk about it. But we'll see. But I think at the moment, the system or the setup that we've got works. So we'll just continue with it. If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Mate, we're wishing you all the very best with the women's team this year down at Barwon Soccer Club, and also with the Masters tournament in the future as well. Great to see you involved with the local game, Blanchy. All the very best to you and the team. And thank you very much for joining us on the Geelong Region Soccer Show.
Not a problem at all. And the women play all their home games on a Friday night, so if you come down, I'll buy a beer, Tonci.
There you go. There we go. Fantastic. And we're not doing the Friday Night Football Out West show, so I just might take you up on that offer. Good on you.
All right. Cheers, guys.
Good
Thanks,
stuff.
Simon.
Simon Blanche there from the Barwon Soccer Club. That's correct. Steve, we are not doing the Friday. We're not doing the Football Out West on the Friday night. It is now a Sunday night program. Every Sunday night from 7 p.m. And it was great to have you on last night's inaugural Sunday night episode. And it does become a good review of the weekend just gone by in much the same way that we do here at the Geelong Region Soccer Show. So that was fantastic. Great to see. And, mate, we're going to jump on very, very quickly. Let's quickly look at the local competition of the men's. And then we might go straight to let's go straight to Jessie, because JESSIE MAES is about to join us. We're going to try and get him all the way. He's over in the UK, and we're going to try and get him on board. But while I try and work that behind the scenes, Steve, did you want to just introduce Jessie?
All right. Well, we hope we've got him ready and waiting to come on, and it is the former Geelong boy, former Brisbane Roar, former Western United staffer, now Maidenhead United Football Club in the UK. We've got him on the screen there. Welcome, and how are you going, JESSIE MAES?
Morning, Steve. I'm doing pretty well, to be honest. It's a bank holiday, so it's a day off, so it's relaxed, to be honest.
Morning, mate. It's 8:15 over here. What time is it over there, actually?
Just ticked on 11:15, so yeah, it's just woke up, relaxing for the weekend, and enjoy the Monday. I'm off to the men's to watch them play Wrexham today, so it'll be good fun.
Now, Maidenhead United. So you're the operations assistant at Maidenhead United. We don't know much about this club. Tell us a little bit more about it.
So the clubs, the men's are in the National League and the women are in the 4th division. So I think you've got the Women's Super League, which is like where Sam Kerr is playing for Chelsea. Then we're 3 divisions below that. So I didn't know much, to be honest, before I started talking to the head coach, and he gave me a bit more of an insight. But yeah, it's a great club out just near Reading there and near Slough. So love them to be on board, to be honest.
Now, it's the 4th tier competition, is that right? And is it something similar to, I don't know, the NPLW here, or the State League Women's, or is it what could you compare it to?
Yeah, I'd say more the State League Women's. So I think there is a North-South-West division. So we're in the South-West division of the UK. So we played teams all the way down to Southampton and all the way to Bristol. So
there's some footage there.
So there's heaps of teams in that division, and then there's the Northwest division as well. So I'd say more like your State League 1, State League 2, where they split up the competition into 2 leagues.
Yep, and just from the lifestyle point of view, I suppose, Jessie, what's it like shifting over there to the Maidenhead community? I see it looks like a place with some old school engineering, some stone bridges and things like that. And as you mentioned, the proximity there to Slough, I'm not sure if you've seen David Brent getting around, going into the office or anything like that. But what's it been like as an adjustment for yourself coming from Australia to living over there, especially at this time when all is not as it was meant to be in the world?
Yeah, it's completely different. Like the move was, sure we might touch on the move later on. But Maidenhead itself as a community is it's a very tight-knit community, and compared to probably because the men's team are professional league, so I've seen a lot what happens there. It's very family-based, so you could say it's like a North Geelong, where it's an NPL, very family, community-based club playing in a full-time professional league. And yeah, it's just a very, very old town, right next to Windsor Castle there. So Windsor's probably about a 2-minute drive away from the ground. And the ground itself is the oldest ground in English football, York Road,
right?
where it was where the first FA Cup game was held. Crystal Palace versus Maidenhead United in 1858. So they're actually celebrating 150 years this year. So yeah, it's pretty cool to be a part of history in that club. So yeah, it's awesome. Awesome place.
And how did it all come about? How did the move, the job there, and tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, so I think it all started. I left Brisbane at the end of November last year, started December, and moved back to Geelong, where I was going to help at Karaya for a bit with Mario, and then I did apply for a job in Norwich probably at the start of November, and made it to the final two, where I was doing the interview process with Norwich Football Club to be kit man there on a full-time basis. And I was living with a mate who's actually listening now, Steve Weeks, and we were going through the visa process and just looking at flights and stuff. And we thought if Norwich say yes, they're probably going to have to take me on within the next week or two. So I got my flight booked at the end of December for 2 weeks later. Unfortunately, didn't get the role at Norwich, but I kept talking about should I go? And I just decided, I just got on the flight and went and just took a big risk. And that was the day the UK were getting 80,000 cases a day. It was completely locked down. When I got here, it was a ghost town. No one was walking around London. So I went to Sheffield to do my quarantine, and I was there for 2 weeks and just didn't know what I was going to do. I knew someone in Manchester that was kind of helping me out, so I moved to Manchester for the time being for about 2 months, and then I got a phone call from Maidenhead United's women's coach who used to play in the Brisbane NPL, so we had a couple of mutual friends asking if I wanted to move to London and get a foot in the door there. So I said, yeah, no worries, and moved to London a week later.
Yeah, fascinating story. It's funny how fate just sort of finds a path for you, doesn't it? I think, Jessie.
Yeah.
Now, what's the situation like over there? Obviously, there's been a lot made. We've been hearing over here about how the financial implications have hit hardest at the lower tier clubs, particularly with Maidenhead United being in the National League there in the men's competition. What's your experience and what you've seen on the pressures on these smaller clubs that haven't been able to have the fans in, that don't get the big, multi-billion dollar TV deals and things like that, like the top sides do in the Premier League and even in the Championship, I suppose?
Yeah, I know when I first got here, there was a massive vote going on whether the league goes ahead or not in the National League, not because of the COVID cases and COVID going into clubs. It was more the financial status because, the fans not going to games is massive for them. So they're not obviously backed by massive owners, and they were trying to get grants and loans from FA, but they would have to pay them back. But at the same time, they didn't want to pay them back. They wanted a grant instead. So there was a massive vote going ahead, but then there was too much implication with the top tier teams trying to get back to the tiered system. So if the vote didn't go ahead and the league didn't go ahead, that means no teams were allowed to be promoted. So I think it went all the way down to the National League South and North, which aren't playing at the moment, and there'll be no promotion and relegation there. But there will be promotion from National League to the League 2 system, the tiered system of the UK. So, yeah, I think money's hitting pretty hard, and I still think we haven't seen the worst of it yet, and still be a few years to come when money will be hitting the hardest at those clubs.
Are you able to make a living working in the football industry? I mean, is that all you do, or have you had to go out and find another job just to make ends meet?
Yeah, so I do odd jobs here and there. So I was labouring for a bit. I was my roommate is a teacher, so I'm doing teacher's assistant with him basically full time at the moment as well. So I'll do that and then go straight to the club every night basically after that as well. So yeah, there's not much money to be made at the moment in football where I am. So but hopefully down the track next season there's something comes up.
Good stuff. But let's turn our attention now to, I guess, the public outcry, the fallout in England after the now doomed, I guess, European Super League, whatever you want to call it, disaster. I mean, what's the best way to describe it? What's the word on the street? What's the word amongst the average, ordinary supporter out there? I mean, we've seen stuff, news footage here and there, but what's the real feeling out, amongst the supporters?
I think I was actually at the pub on Saturday for the Fulham-Chelsea game, and I live in Fulham, so there's a lot of people out and about. I was asking a few of the supporters there, and both Chelsea and both Fulham, and they said it's an absolute nuclear war on football. I live right in between Fulham and Chelsea's grounds, and there's just riots every day at the grounds at the moment, with fans blocking buses going to games, and they just basically want these owners out, and basically they want a say now at the club. And as we saw yesterday, I was watching Sky Sports and basically saw fans running onto the field at the time that have no idea what's going on at Old Trafford, and then news came out that there was about 20,000 fans, both at the hotels and at the ground, stopping the games. So at the moment, the fans are having a bigger say than anyone else here, which is probably about time. And the commentators and every football pundit here is agreeing with fans doing this sort of thing at the moment to get these owners out, because they're basically destroying football here.
We can see some footage there of some of the protests on the weekend at Manchester United, which is incredible with all of the COVID restrictions and what you're not, a whole heap of fans protesting, effectively breaking into the stadium, taking over the field, and also outside. Certainly no social distancing there, that's for sure. But, that's incredible. I mean, that really, really is amazing scenes. And I guess, it has always been seen as the people's game, particularly in England, the home of football. But then you've got, corporate greed now starting to take over. Are the fans kind of buoyed by what they're seeing and the fact that, that they're able to, almost change the course of history by simply by rebelling against this type of corporate greed? And, the European Super League, for the time being, has been put back in its box. But, now the next step is almost going towards that next step of trying to get some of these greedy club owners to force them to sell up.
Yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head there. I think fans want to say now at the clubs, which for years haven't been, probably in England hasn't been done, like where in Germany, I think fans have a 51% ownership of the club, so they get the majority say, where we did see the Bayern Munich, Borussia Dortmund and Leipzig go to this European Super League. So, which when they were asked, I think it was more when the clubs just came out and had nothing to say, and it was just in the media straight away, is when the fans got pretty annoyed, and that was the end of it basically. And it was riots from the minute go. It was basically when that was said, there was flares going off in the streets. I think Arsenal Stadium had about 10,000 fans just surround the stadiums for days, and then Chelsea obviously had the bus stopped at the gate and let them in until they pulled out of the Super League that night. So that was basically the start of the pin drop when Chelsea pulled out. And that's just like the Sky Sports covered it here for about 24 hours for about the whole week. So, and they called it a nuclear war on football, and it was a pretty interesting week just to watch news here, to be honest.
Wow. It's funny, isn't it? And you mentioned Arsenal there. It looks like they could even get bought out by the Spotify owner. So maybe they'll be running around with Spotify in the front of their jerseys in a couple of seasons. And you also wonder how much of it all could have been to get bargaining power. And then at the same time as this is happening, UEFA's pushed through that new Swiss model for the Champions League. I'm sure you've seen that as well. And it must be a lot of backlash about that sort of thing too. But and you think if it wasn't for this Super League thing, there would have been so much more backlash about that thing. So it's really strange times, right?
Yeah, I barely don't know anything about the new Champions League setup either, because of this Super League was taken over.
Yeah.
I think wanted to get a head start before the Champions League basically got announced. I think more people, like the lower clubs, are all annoyed, and I think there was come out yesterday that you had to pay a $300 million fine to enter back into the Premier League for those 6 clubs. So instead of making that $300 million they're going to make into the European Super League, they're going to lose another $300 million extra to rejoin the Premier League, because the lower league clubs, the 14 clubs that didn't join, are pretty annoyed still, as they basically nearly destroyed the whole league. So it's just it's not over. It's far away from over, as we saw yesterday with crowds running onto the field still. So who knows what's going to happen in the future.
All we know is that we're certainly going to, in the future, be looking out for Maidenhead United. The season starts in September. I didn't know anything about Maidenhead United. I do now, and it's certainly got. I think of Iron Maiden. I think of power and heavy metal. When I think of Maidenhead. But mate, great to see you. Albeit on the screen, but good to see you doing so well over there, and absolutely take our hats off to you. At a time when people are thinking should they or should they not cross the border into New South Wales, you've crossed the country, across the world, and gone to the other side of the world in the unknown, and mate, that's an incredible story. So we wish you all the best, Jess.
Thank you very much. No, I appreciate those words, and make sure I kill it for Geelong football.
Absolutely. Do promote Geelong football wherever you go. Good on you. JESSIE MAES, he's the new operations assistant at Maidenhead United. Wishing you all the very best.
Cheers, Tonci. Thanks, Stephen. Have a good night.
Thanks, Jesse. Good on you, mate.
Mate, that brings us to the end of the show. What a jam-packed show tonight was. We've almost gone, 88, 89 minutes almost now into the full regulation time. Steve, thanks for being a part of tonight's show. It's been a great one. Lots of news, lots of breaking news, and it was really good to talk to Blanchy, COLIN DRAIN, and JESSIE MAES in the end there. Mate, wishing you all the very best for the rest of the week, and we'll catch up with you next Monday.
We'll speak to you then, mate. Until then, au revoir.
All the very, very best. Good night, and see you next week.